using our democracy to topple our democracy. They say that it is the religious duty of every Muslim to impose, and I continue quoting, functionally Islamic government on every country in the world. This religious duty is binding in principle, in law, in self-defense, in community, and as a sacred obligation of jihad. In order to fulfill the sacred obligation of jihad, they must, and I continue quoting, invade its western heartland and struggle to overcome it until all the world shouts by the name of the Prophet Muhammad and the teachings of Islam spread throughout the world. Only then will Muslims achieve their fundamental goal: all religion will be exclusively for Allah. This is what they are teaching in mosque down the street from your community. Don't be fooled, my friend, with all this talk about interfaith dialogue and all that nonsense taking place in English. You need to go in and see what they are teaching in Arabic. They are literally building an army, an enemy from within to topple our democracy from within. The problem not only in the mosques, but also in the private schools, in the madrasas, which is in Islamic schools in the United States. When you hear the word madrasas, you think Iran, Pakistan. That's when we hear the word madrasa is associated with. We have madrasas right here in the United States. One of the most notorious madrasas are in Virginia on the backyard of the White House. And what they're teaching young Islamic American students from kindergarten until high school, until 12th grade, they're teaching them that Christians and Jews are apes and pigs because they are cursed by Allah. They are teaching them, according to the Quran, that if there is a Jew behind the tree, go and kill him. Now, this hate education should not be tolerated in our country against any group of people. Absolutely none. This type of education should not be tolerated against anybody from any religion, from any color, from any ethnicity, from any background, from any nationality. Can you imagine how we will stand up and condemn if anybody would stand up and say or teach in any school that gays are pigs and blacks are apes? We would be the first ones to stand up and shut them up. Yet how come they let it happen in Islamic schools? We need to wake up and we need to be informed about what's happening in our country. The problem is not only the borders, it is not only the mosques, it is not only the Islamic communities within our nation. The problem is also in our universities. For the last 16 years, Saudi Arabia has been able to exploit a program that we have, that our government has instituted, called Title VI. And our government has began that program in schools because they wanted to train American students to learn different languages so they can assist our government in working overseas with different countries. So they will be an asset in protecting our country and be the eyes and ears of our country overseas and get into the diplomatic field. What happened is Saudi Arabia, for the last 16 years, started systematically pumping millions of dollars, petrodollars, into our universities to brainwash our students. What they have begun doing is setting up Middle East study departments, political science departments, and staffing them with Islamic professors or Christian, Palestinian, anti-American, anti-Semitic professors who have been literally brainwashing our children to teach our children that America is the problem, Israel is the problem, that any problem in the world is our fault. And here is the extent of Saudi meddling and influence that's been taking place in our universities. King Fahd of Saudi Arabia has donated $20 million to set up Middle East Studies, MES, at the University of Arkansas. $5 million donated to Berkeley's MES from 2 Saudi sheikhs linked to Al-Qaeda. And Berkeley, of course, took the money. Harvard has received $22.5 million, as did Georgetown, $28.1 million just this last spring. $11 million went to Cornell, $5 million to MIT, $1.5 million to Texas A&M, $1 million to Princeton. Rutgers received $5 million chair endowment, as did Columbia, which tried to conceal the source of the funds. Other recipients of Saudi-tainted monies they include UC Santa Barbara, Johns Hopkins University, Rice University, American University, University of Chicago, USC, UCLA, Duke University, Syracuse University, Howard University, and countless others. We pump the gas, they pump poison into our children's mind and teach them to hate America. University of Idaho, Washington State University, Ohio State University, Arizona State University, University of Michigan at Ann Arbor, UC Los Angeles, UC Irvine, UC Berkeley, UCLA, University of South Florida, Georgetown, Columbia, Harvard, Connecticut, and numerous others. We're not talking about only Ivy League universities. We're talking from the top to the state level to community colleges. They have infiltrated our universities. The Muslim student associations, the Muslim student clubs have more chapters on American college campuses than the Democrats and the Republicans combined. Now, that is something to worry about. Now, how come you're not hearing this information from the mainstream media? You're not going to hear this information from the mainstream media because it is the truth and it is politically incorrect. And I believe we need to take political correctness and throw it in the garbage where it belongs and start saving our country. As for me, I will no longer stay silent because we're going to lose our country. Because we're going to lose our country until we cherish and value our country and be willing to die to save our freedoms as much as our enemy is willing to die to kill our freedoms and to kill us. We need to have the same passion. We need to burn with passion like our founding fathers who came to this country, who founded this great country of ours. So we all can come here. And when I look around in this room, I see a tapestry of different colors or different nationalities, of different languages, of different people, of different immigrants like me who came to this country to build a dream. America is our dream. We came here to better ourselves. We came here so we may live in freedom. America is the best country in the world where every individual citizen America is the melting pot. It is God's gift to the universe. Trust me, take it from an immigrant. If you have never lived outside of this country, this is heaven on earth. What we need to do in this country, we need to unite together as one, as Americans. We need to throw away all the titles that we use. African American, Irish American, Lebanese American, whatever American. I am an American. I am an American. Yes, yes, and yes, Americans. The wonderful thing in our country is, at least in this country, the wonderful thing in our country is we have the freedom as Americans to stand here, to express our views, to be able to share opinion, something we cannot do anywhere else. at least in this country, I am able to stand on a podium and look at other people and may not agree with their point of view, but I respect his opinion to be able to stand up and his right to speak against me, because this is what our country stands for. And this is what we pride ourselves on. He will not be able to do that in his country or wherever he came from. I believe when you speak from the heart, when you speak with passion, when you speak the truth, when you are on fire for what you believe in, for what you love, for what you respect, people will drive miles to watch you burn. And I urge you to burn from within with your love for this country, to be able to have the courage to stand up to defend it, to have the courage to debate with your friends who want to put our country down. For anyone who does not like America, for anyone who does not respect or value what America has to offer, I have an offer for them. We will gladly give them a one-way ticket to go back to wherever they want to go. This country is holy ground. And unless people who come here, like our founding fathers, who came from other countries where they knew what tyranny and oppression is, and they appreciated this land, and they built this land, and they built this land for us, so we may preserve it for our future generation. Right now, we are seeing our land slip away to our enemy, and we are sitting, watching American Idol, watching reality television, not paying attention to anything. Sadly, we need to wake up. We need to wake up. And I tell you what I am doing to wake our country up. In 2002, I founded an organization called American Congress for Truth. We are not politically correct, and we love it. I founded American Congress for Truth, ACT, because I wanted to empower people to act. I wanted to mobilize, empower, network, inform millions of uneducated Americans about the threat of Islam to world peace and our national security. We are fighting Islamofascism. We are fighting an enemy that is worse than communism. We are fighting an enemy that is bent on destroying us. Now, we can sit together and make diversity quilts and do feely-goody things and pass our time, but we've got to wake up to the reality. We've got to wake up that we have an enemy organizing within our country, and we've got to stop it. So here's how we're going to stop it. With ACT, American Congress for Truth.com, and I urge every single one of you tonight to sign up on our website so you can start receiving our emails and action alerts, which is a free subscription, because I want you informed. We started informing others. We send emails one a day or every other day, or whenever we do not have technical difficulties. Technology is wonderful and a curse at the same time. The name of the organization is American Congress for Truth.com. And we are nonprofit, but it's easier to remember the .com instead of the .org. We started sending emails to thousands of members nationwide. Right now, we have thousands of members in all 50 states in the United States. We are getting ready to start setting up chapters in every city and state in the United States to mobilize average citizens to stand up and work together to save our country. We're going to send an email out informing everyone of our plans within the next 2 months in organizing every community so we can teach the average citizen how to get involved and what you can do as a citizen so we can form groups. Part of the things we want to do is monitor universities. And I'll give you a few tips. Did you know that everybody in America over the age of 55 can take a university course free of charge? Free of charge. So we're going to take our citizens and our chapters, and we're going to assign people to go take courses to monitor professors and what they're saying about America. They're going to sit in classes And they're going to see any professor that says anything derogatory about our country and our nation, he is to be reported to the administration. And if the administration is not going to do anything about it, we, the people, are going to do something about it, report him to the media and expose him. We want to set up chapters that we're going to train, and you're going to be part of those chapters because you're going to log on to the website, AmericanCongressForTruth.com, and sign up. We're going to set up chapters on the websites as well in the communities. And we're going to teach people how to do lobbying, how to do advocacy, how to do media monitoring, how to write letters. Right now, we send action alerts to our members. If there is an issue, we send an action alert and say, there's a bill being voted on in Congress tomorrow. We need you to call your elected official. Here is his name, her name, here's their phone number. Call them and let them know where you stand on the issues. I am a believer on tightening the screws on our elected officials and make them stand up and work for us instead of for the lobbyists. I have a very simple philosophy. We put them in office, we can take them out of office as easily as we put them in. They work for us, not the other way around. Sadly, too many people are not bold enough to call their elected officials, to have a relationship with their elected officials. Many people go to the voting booth, vote according to political party line, click the click, without even really knowing much about their elected official or where he or she stands on the issues. So we're going to take care of that. I talk to people all the time, and I tell them how important it is to contact their elected officials. Here's how important it is. I talk to elected officials all the time, on a national level, congressmen and senators, and I ask them, how many people do you need to hear from in order for you to make an issue your top priority and pass a bill about it? And you will be shocked as what they say. 40 to 50 people. That's it. And here is the science behind the numbers. They believe that if one person has the energy and the dedication to pick up the phone and make a phone call or write a letter or send an email or send a fax, he or she are representing 1,000 couch potatoes who feel the same way but are too lazy to get up and make the phone call. That translates to 40 to 50,000 voters on election day. That can make or break an election. You, my friends, every citizen sitting on these chairs tonight, have more power than the biggest lobbyist in Washington, D.C. with the biggest money, because you are the voters, not the lobbyists. There are much more of us than there are of them. We just need to know the issues, and we need to know action alerts, so we will know what to do and who to contact. We sent an email alert yesterday. We knew a senator from Pennsylvania was going to be on the Tim Russett show on MSNBC this morning. He is going to ACARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, who is the devil within our midst, fundraiser. So we launched an email telling all our members to contact MSNBC, because you, the average citizen, are not going to know this information unless we tell you. This is why I need you to be signed up with us so you'll know this stuff. So we sent an email to all our members. We said, contact MSNBC. We gave them the link to MSNBC. Contact the Tim Russett Show. Here is the number. Here are the questions you need to propose, because MSNBC asks you, propose question for us so we will know what to ask the senator. We sent a list of questions. We sent a list of the excuses that MSNBC should not accept from the senators. This is the power that you have as individuals. So instead of sitting around and complaining about us being so frustrated about, now I know what's happening, what can I do about it because I am so frustrated and I want to do something. We are creating the vehicle for every single one of you to do something about it. And we need your help as much as you need our help. And I'm going to talk a little bit about action as we wrap up tonight. My parents, God bless their soul. I had the most outstanding parents any child could ever have. I live to honor my parents. I live my life to represent my parents in the best way I can. My parents taught me a very important lesson since I was a child. They always said to me, Brigitte, Tell people, show people how you feel. Don't tell them. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Show them how you feel. When my parents died, I wanted to honor my parents and send a message to children, to my children, yet unborn, about where my loyalty lies. My father died, and I buried him in Israel on Mount Zion in Jerusalem. My mother had died 9 months before him. So when I knew I was coming to America, I went to Lebanon because I wanted to reunite my parents. I went to Lebanon. I dug my mother out of her grave. I took her out of her casket. I put her in a baby casket that I made custom fit the trunk of my car. And I drove her to Jerusalem and buried her with my father on Mount Zion. They are buried in the Oskar Schindler Cemetery with Oskar Schindler. If you have ever visited Jerusalem and Oskar Schindler, you walked by their grave. This is action. I wanted to send a message to my children, yet unborn, with my actions, where my loyalty lies. Because I always wanted them to be pulled to Jerusalem, to the Holy Land, to the land of God, instead of them ever having to go back to the Middle East or to Lebanon. And I urge you tonight to let your actions speak louder for you than your word. It's not only enough to pray. We can pray, but God uses His people to make a difference. And I'm going to end on this note. So many times in the last 100 years, evil prevailed because good people did nothing, stood by and done nothing, allowing evil to prevail. As America stood up against and defeated communism, this is the time we need to stand up and defeat Islamofascism, Islamic hatred, bigotry, and intolerance. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for having me here. I love you. Thank you. Thank you.